Get started. What's going on? Hello to everyone out there. My name is Dispatch Cat. If you're not familiar with me, this channel is clear as I possibly can make it. The title is called GL University Carrier 2. Week 2, Carrier Inviting System. So that's exactly what we're talking about. How to interview people, if I can get this correct. I won't have to go through what I did last week. So what we're going to be discussing today is how to interview carriers the right way, the proper way. What's the best way to interview someone? Let's get started with some knowledge for you. All right, we're going to start right here. Let me tell y'all something. I actually had to learn the hard way. Excuse me, my teleprompter is over on the other side because I have a few angles going on here. Every damn carrier ain't a good carrier. Let me say that again. Every carrier is not a good carrier. When I first got into this industry, I was thinking everyone is good. Hell, I was only trying to aim for trucks, aim for drivers. I wasn't thinking about the nuances that go behind the scenes. Somebody will tell you, yeah, I need a dispatcher, and you get excited. But let me tell you something. There's a difference in an operator and someone who's just looking for a dispatcher. A dispatcher, as soon as they hire someone or find someone who needs a dispatcher, they get super excited. And it's not just one of those, oh man, I need a carrier type of things. Is, oh, I mean, how can I say it? I can do this, I can do that. And then you get excited, like, yeah, I got me another carrier. Heck, let's stop for a second and let's pump our brakes for a second. Because you actually have another problem on your hands when you hire or when you find that new driver who is interested in having a dispatcher. See, the thing is, you did not ask any questions, even correctly. You didn't ask the right questions. That is because I'm saying this due to the fact I actually had to live this. See, I would be sitting there searching for people, and I found all of my drivers on Facebook. But I was searching that load board, calling brokers, negotiating, trying to find the exact thing for my carriers and what they wanted to hit their numbers. But then when I brought them a load, guess what? Nah, I don't want that. I had one driver who I call Mr. Particular because he was, I want to go here, I want to go there. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to sit you down. And then I went and found another carrier. And when I did that, that's not enough money. Okay, no problem. You only have 3 months underneath your belt. Let me find someone else. And then I came across what I had to figure out, which was my system. Find the right driver for your business. Not every driver is suitable or even fits your business. See, after a while, I started thinking, what the hell am I really doing wrong? Why is it that so many drivers are specific on what they want, when in actuality, what they need is money? So I started working harder than a person who's moving those trucks. I started digging deeper into the load boards, finding this load board because DAT didn't have everything that I needed. See, let me explain something to you. That was a huge problem because that cost me a lot of time. I did not learn at that specific time frame that this was just because somebody owned a truck. That actually did not mean they knew how to run their business. And it took me a while to understand that. It wasn't until I created my system that I learned this information. See, I did not know how to vet carriers properly. I'm going to be honest. Their dysfunction became my workload. Their specifics became my task to-do list. Let me say that again. Their dysfunction became my workload. I had to manage not only their truck, but their household to a degree. When I'm saying their household, I'm talking about the income. See, the unrealistic expectations became my problem. The bad numbers became my problem. Their lack of communication, another problem. The inability to make a decision on a load became the biggest problem and the most costly problem. That's when I realized when the truck didn't make enough money, guess who they looked at? The dispatcher. When the truck hit their numbers, guess who they thank? The dispatcher. But that's when I realized something literally had to change, because I wasn't going to keep running myself into the ground and not scaling the business when I was trying to appease all the drivers and their owners. See, I had to start putting up, I want to call them barriers and fences, because I stopped asking, how do I get more carriers? I started asking, man, why the hell in the world am I working for someone why am I working with someone who calls me? And then I realized, okay, I'm here to do your job. I'm here to show you how we're going to do this. I'm here to guide you properly, because what you really know is how to drive that truck. You don't know how to scale your business. You don't know your numbers. You don't even understand what it takes to run the business behind the scenes. See, I did not need to convince a carrier to hire me. No. It got to the point where I got standards. And that's when people realized you just can't be partners with me, because my operation was different from the other dispatchers. As I stopped my teleprompter, because to a degree, I know this. Sometimes you want to sound right, but sometimes you just have to get it out. So it got to the point where I said, let me be specific, because I don't need all of you to make $1 million. I don't. All I need is about 6 to 10, and I can get those numbers, because every driver, every truck brings me an additional $1,000 a week. So that means if I ran 4 trucks, I made $4K that week, $16K in a month. So that's when I became very specific with my drivers, very particular in who we partner with. See, the thing was, I didn't want any and everyone. I wanted the right ones, because my time was very much valuable. Do you understand what dispatchers have to do to actually get that load to you? You don't, because we got 3 minutes less than that to actually book the load and even negotiate the rate while also delivering the paperwork. Yes, AI can do it better and faster, but when this system was being built, it was all me all the time, and I was getting burnt out, because not only did I have to go through so much to get the right driver, then I had to find the right driver to actually see, what are your numbers? Do you know what they are? If not, let me show you what your numbers should be based off your business, your business expense, your household expense, and there's your profit. So this is what we're going to get into tonight. The biggest threat to your business is not always being on the road. It's actually sometimes the person you invite into your business. Are you aware that driver can take you down the drain? Are you aware that driver can put you out your business? Are you aware the wrong driver can actually have red flags on your MC number and your insurance without you knowing it? So why hire someone without the proper vetting? Do you think you got hired at your previous job before you took on this business without the proper vetting or training? No, you did not. So don't come into logistics thinking that you can just hop behind this truck and say, okay, I know what I'm doing. Or let me go ahead and bring my cousin Tony behind my truck and have him drive, and then get upset when Tony doesn't know what to do out there on the road. Don't worry, my name is Dispatch Cat. I'm going to explain all of this to you. I am the founder of Geo University, and I will even break down why you should be listening to me. But right now, we're going to go ahead and get started. See, the thing is, my carrier vetting system, it changed everything. And if I can get real with you all, I had to have a system, because I was prospecting on Facebook. Now, as I told you guys last week, to get into dispatching is very simple. All you need are 3 things: a phone, a laptop, and a truck. Everyone knows someone who drives a truck. Do you know that? Everyone knows someone who drives a truck. So since you know someone who actually drives a truck, now let's partner with them. Excuse me, because my camera is a little off right here. So sorry. That's not professional, but you got to see me, baby. I'm sorry. I put too much work and time into this. You're going to see me. You're going to get this information. Everyone knows someone who drives a truck. Everyone knows someone who wants to get into logistics. The biggest thing about dispatching is not how to get into it. It's going to be how to stay in it and how to scale in it. Because as a dispatcher, you can scale your business. As a truck driver, you can get out that truck and scale your business through dispatching. Dispatching is the foundation of logistics. So why not start there? Why? Because once you understand the foundation, the equipment is just that, the equipment. Dispatching is the foundation. It's technically your system. So who is this for? This is for new dispatchers, fleet owners, brokers. Oh yes, my brokers need to understand this. My brokers need to understand this. Excuse me 1 second. Let me go ahead and do something in the middle of recording. Excuse me. Now, my brokers, you all need this. Why? Because you need to understand how to find your carriers, the right carriers, due to the fact it's the illegal, and I hate to say this, people, but every person who double brokered us, out of thousands, one American. To my Middle Easterns, I'm a woman of God, so I have no prejudice towards you. But I will be honest, everyone who double brokered us was from your area. I'm so sorry. They had your accent. They had your spelling of your name. So we're not profiling, baby. We're just keeping it real. Every double broker looked like a carrier with a mask. And that's a problem with brokers. They find a carrier, a synthetic carrier, who has a trucker's MC, and then they book with that person, and then that person turns around and go to DAT, Truck Stop, TQL, Echo Logistics, and then post on their load board as a brokerer. And you think, oh, I got this good. I got to. The way you can really tell a double broker is because they only go up $200. That's one red flag. Another red flag is some things you can't, it's on your paperwork. It's the missing holes in the story. It's the missing holes in the gap. And that's exactly what I go through in my curriculum, because I break down the double brokering, because that right there is a finite line between double brokering and freight forwarding. And trust me, the reason why you want to learn from me is because we actually recovered $250,000 of double broker loads, and that wasn't by accident, baby. I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to search what they were doing. I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning following their little footsteps. I was up at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning actually communicating with them, saying, I actually know this person is a double broker. Do I want to work with them? Nah. Let me see how I can get the most information so I can take it to the real broker and then cut them out this deal, because what they're trying to do is take money from my driver and my pocket, and that's not something we're going to do. I'm glad right now we are recording this so you all can actually take notes on this, because this is for anyone who wants to get in logistics. Now, let me tell you something. I'm not selling dispatching. I am selling freedom. See, I come from corporate sales. I have been in sales ever since I was 9 years young, baby, and it has not changed. The game is still the same. I can sell to cold, warm, even your cousin on the corner, baby. The only difference is I now have a bigger purpose. See, I was doing sales because I wanted to help people. And I learned in sales, I can help people because everyone in sales was lying. So it was easy for me to stand out because I come with the truth. And how do you know? Your energy. Your energy can tell you if I'm lying too, even through this phone. So go ahead, continue to listen to me so your energy can actually feel and vibe and become in alignment with me, because I'm going to show you how I became free. And that's exactly why I created the school, to be the point where everyone can become free. People don't go to medical school to become free. They go there so they can actually be that person to save a life. People don't become a lawyer because they want to become free. They go because they like the purpose of fighting for justice. People don't come to logistics because they want to have a job. They come here because they want a business that they can create that can actually scale to a legacy for your family. So let me tell you about me. I hail from Chicago. I am all Chicago, but I live in the Carolinas because I was tired of the hustle and bustle. My goal after I got married, I was just like, I was never that person who just wants to be a housewife. That's just not me. I'm not the stay-at-home mom. That's not me. I'm the work-from-home wife, because that type of person is the person who runs the operating system. That type of person is the person who created that operating system. And I learned early on, after getting married and then having a child, oh baby, those titles change, and the priorities and the responsibilities, that is really on a woman's plate. The man, he has his role, he has everything, but the woman, like it says in the Bible, she builds up the house. So I was building up the house, but baby, let me be honest with you real quick, because I have to take the glasses off on this one. Whew, I gotta say this without really creating anything negative. I was dying inside, if I can be frank. People saw my life on the outside, my friends, it looked like, and even with my family members, as if everything was fucking perfect. We had no help. I am away from my family, so my help is up there. His family's down here, no help. Some, just a little bit in the beginning. But when my daughter came, that help was very minuscule. And the one thing I learned was, my husband's working, he's doing maintenance engineering, and I'm doing corporate sales for a company where I'm selling CRM services to CEOs. As soon as that baby dropped out of my belly, and I realized, oh, I can do this, I work from home, I soon had my balloon pop. I said, oh, hell no, I can't do this. And I was too prideful and too much of a tourist to admit that. I was yelling at my husband because, dude, you go to work, you're tired, and you can't even help at home with the kid or the household. It was all on me. And I respect my husband, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, it was all on me. So I had to go to the drawing board and say, God, this ain't working. Because now my daughter is 3 months and now she's moving and I have to be on my camera. I have to be at work. I have to be in my office to go ahead and talk to these CEOs to close them. See, I do sales. My quota was 5 to 6 sales a month if it's good, 10 if it's okay, if you're great. I was booking 15 to 20. I'm not being braggadocious. I'm telling you how determined I was to win. Now, when my daughter hit 6 months, she started moving more. She started talking more. So I put her in my office and baby, they heard her loud and clear. My supervisor said, hey, you can't have that child in the background. Do you understand? You work for us. And that's when I realized, damn it, sales gave me flexibility, but my freedom was still taken. I had chains on my ankles and my wrist. And those chains were bills, formula, BMW. Household. Don't get me wrong, I made the money, but damn it, I had no time. 60K salary, commission checks 10 to 15K, but damn it, the government was taking half my money. My husband made good money. So how is that we make the money, but we had the time, we couldn't outsource it. My daughter was less than a year. I wasn't allowing a stranger around her. So I said, all right, God, I'm not going to choose between a successful career and a mom. See, I was actually the #1 salesperson for my company. The #1. I wasn't jumping off that ladder because it took so long to get up there. I got on my knees and I prayed because that's all I know what to do. Give it to God. God came back and said dispatching. He said logistics, to be honest. My brother said brokerage. My sister said dispatching. See, my brother and sister, I went to them because they were already in logistics. My brother owned 5 trucks. He started out as a worker for Schneider, but then he took his money. He definitely doubled down and he turned that into 5 trucks with his own business. I wish I would have been in this game when he was in it. I could have definitely helped him, but I helped him indirectly while I was still killing in my lane. See, my sister, she did her thing. She saw me have a comma in my paycheck, and I'm the baby of 6. She's #2. She got excited. She said, I want that. So my brother told her to go to logistics. And guess what? She popped 2 trucks from logistics. I didn't care what they did. I was winning in sales. But when they told me dispatching and brokerage, I saw that brokerage. I need to have that surety bond. And I said, I'm not paying for that. No, thank you. I said, let's talk about dispatching. What's this? So I soon learned that dispatching was, put the pieces together. I don't need to convince anyone. And that's when I said, let's go. Because I was done convincing. I was done trying to bridge the gap for those people who didn't understand that your problem is my solution. Let's go. I don't want to convince anyone. See, network marketing showed me what freedom was. That's having time and money. You can go wherever you want and swipe that card anytime you want. I knew I can have that in network marketing because I built my business and it was starting to get traction. And the bigger I got, the more I had to convince. And I said no, which is why I went back to a job. So if it wasn't me praying, asking God, because that pull, many people fail to realize that soft nudge is God telling you something else over here. See, I just heard recently that God will put it in your face or within reach, but he watch this to see if you really want that, because you have to stretch to get it. And if you make an attempt, he will meet you the rest of the way. So when I looked into dispatching and then I took the training course, I got on my knees again and I prayed. I said, God, if you only give me one carry, I promise you I will do right by them. I promise you. God has something better and bigger for me without me knowing it. Within the first week, see, I took $200 and I made an investment. And I was actually scared to take that money to do it, which is crazy. Scared to put $200 and invest in myself. How many of you are afraid to invest in yourself? How many of you have passed up an opportunity to invest in yourself because you are so used to that security blanket underneath your feet called JOB, just over broke? And that's exactly how this system was created, to give you just enough. See, working for somebody, I was making about what? 60K, close to 100. Working for myself, I hit over 100. I was shocked. And I actually worked harder and worked more hours. See, working for somebody, I can call off. Look, my back hurt. I can't make it today. I don't feel good. I can't make it today. When it's your own business, hell no, you have to show up. I had carriers on my back. I digress. Within the first week, I signed up 6 carriers from Facebook, baby. I am not bragging. I was nervous and I was determined to win. See, that job, I worked from 12 to 9, and then 9 to 12, it was dinner, bath time, breastfeeding, and then from 12 to 2, I had to work my business. And then start all over again at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning because my daughter would wake up. So I was strapped tight for time, and I had to crawl my way out. I had to dig deeper to go further down into logistics before I can even come up for air. It took me a whole 30 days. It sounds like, oh, that's not much time, but in the midst of it, it felt like forever. 30 days to really change my life. Because when I locked in, I started on the second week. First week I signed up 6, second week I signed up 12. When I hit that number 12, that 6 a.m. morning slot went from 6 to 6. So I'm doing dispatching from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. because now it's time for me to go to work. And then all of a sudden by the third week from 12 to 4, I was still dispatching. My job started to notice by this time. They said, hold on. You're working 4 hours out of an 8-hour shift. I said, am I still number one? They said, yeah. I said, then please shut the hell up. Seriously, I'm not trying to be rude, but my time is my time. And I know I'm on your clock, but I'm trying to get off your clock permanent. I couldn't say that respectfully, so I had to show it differently. So they put me on probation. I was shocked. I said, I'm your number one. What's the problem? They said, okay, we think you can do more if you give us 8 hours. I said, oh, okay. Now here I am. I got now 12 carriers. It's the third week. I'm nervous. I didn't want to let the 60K go. Did you understand that? I didn't want to let the guaranteed 60K go. All the while, God had 150 over here for me. Didn't even know it. So by week 4, I was nervous because I didn't change. I kept working my business. I got people who are counting on me. I didn't care about what this job had for me or what they were going to do to me because I had people who were counting on me. My word is my bond. So I gave my carriers my word, so I had to deliver. So on the last Thursday, I said a prayer because that Friday I had a meeting with my supervisor. I said, God, I don't know what to do. I'm nervous. Do I quit the job? Do I go all in on this business that I don't really know if it will work? I'm not used to this. I don't know logistics. I don't know the season. I don't know the downtime. It's so many I don't knows. The unknown is so scary, right? It's that gray space that people don't understand that God is saying, trust me. Give it to me and trust. And that's what I did. So my husband and I, we went to Walmart that night. We're doing shopping, and all of a sudden I see this woman walk past me out of nowhere. Her shirt said faith over fear, and I received a feeling of peace, and I said, thank you, God. I still wasn't going to quit, even though I had my confirmation. So the next day on the call, guess what happened? My boss chewed my ass out. And I sat there and said, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm a grown ass woman. Allowing this white man talk to me like this? No, thank you. My husband was sitting right next to me because he was dispatching with me. See, by the time week 3 got there and we had 12 carriers, by the time week 4 got, we had 24 carriers. I actually asked my husband to quit his job because now we got 24 people. And I was helping them hit 10,000 every week. Some was hitting those numbers. I couldn't hold it all. So I had to ask my husband to quit his job because if not, I was about to fall. And whatever I just built was about to fall with me. See, people don't understand when you ask for something, you better be prepared for that blessing. Because if you're not prepared, it will crush you. And your reputation will plummet. No one will trust you. So he quit his job. I'm still working my job in the business. And I have this white man telling me, you can do more than that. And I'm thinking to myself, you absolutely right. I can do more than that. I said, you know what? Don't worry about it. I quit. He was like, no, wait. I closed his computer. I shipped that shit back. Excuse my language. I shipped it back and I opened my computer and I got back to dispatching. I was so nervous. But the thing is, God gave me my confirmation. So when you receive a confirmation, there's only 2 feelings that you're going to receive: discomfort or peace. I had peace, so I knew I was doing the right thing. See, the thing is, I created my interviewing system to protect my business because 24 carriers, I must have did something right. That was within my first 30 days. And I met everyone on Facebook. I'll show you how tomorrow. The quality of your operation will never exceed the quality of the people you allow into it. I noticed during my interviewing that some of the people were kind of shifty. So my story ends up with me quitting that job, and dispatching took off faster than I could even imagine. I said that to say, if God is pulling you to something, know that he's already planned for you to get through it. Understand that if God has called you to a particular calling, he already had created the way for you to come out of any kinks that's on that road, any rocks that's on that path. Understand, you just have to give it to God and allow the pieces to fall into alignment, just like my system. See, the belief is most people think that interviewing carriers, it's all about paperwork. Let me do this. Let me check this out. No. You're talking about operators understand it's a relationship management. See, my interviewing system was about an hour long. And then when I added the truck and household numbers, it went to 2 hours. That's how many people start gravitating to us. Because they said, wait, you don't ask the same questions as all of these other dispatchers. I said, I know. Because they don't care about your numbers. They care about booking a freight. And you can book a freight and put it on the truck. But baby, if your drivers are still broke at the end of the week, did you really help them? See, you did, but me, I put my heart into it. So let me show you how I can take your business and scale you to the next level. Let me see what that household looks like. Let me see where your expenses are, because we got to trim some fat. Because if I may help you make 10,000 and you come home with 3,500, baby, that's not good. Let me say that again. If you make 10,000 a week, and your take home is 35, that's not good. Your take home has to be between 50 and 75%. If you don't understand this, know that I have calculated and analyzed these numbers, research over 20,000 hours. It works. I know it. Because after so many times doing this, it's like, okay, it works. So you have to hit those numbers between 50 to 75%. If you don't, then that means your system is wrong. Now, the why. It takes trust. It takes blind trust when it comes to hiring someone. Not just hiring, but partnering too. See, we got to the point where I started partnering with people, with these new drivers who, I got a new MC. I have 2 years. I'm like, okay. Then I learned where are the other things that you actually need as a carrier? Do you have endorsements? No. Do you have any inspections? No. Wait, how long have you been in business? Oh, I can't touch you. Because one thing I've learned as a dispatcher, if I want to book you and you're under 3 months and you don't have at least 2 inspections, you just held me up. Why? Because the broker's going to see that and say, oh, no, I can't touch you. We don't know if you're legit. We don't even know if you're real. That's what those inspections are. that is an extra layer of protection for not just you, but for your business to say you are who you say you are. So it takes that trust, consistency. Let's go. Let's see if we can take the first load. And now that we took the first load, can you pick up on time? Can you drop off on time? Once you get there, are you rude, professional? Do you have the right trucker's etiquette? Do you know how to handle yourself properly? Most people don't. Now, let's get to profit. If you can do all of that, then we can make a profit. See, I can't make a profit with you if I don't trust you. Because I got to the point where I didn't talk to the drivers. No. Once you're in this game and you see how easy it is to get in this, you want to have layers because you want to show you are valuable because you're bringing value. And the reason why I started doing that was because a lot of this is operational deadhead that can be eliminated. Trying to interview someone, it takes time. That's why I created my career vetting system that has my ebook, my questionnaires, 25 questions to interview this person. And then we're going to use a scorecard to break down everything. See, that helps me to actually make the profit. Because when the system is organized, it's in alignment and everything will fall together like a domino. Now let's go ahead, move on to the next one. Excuse me. This is the biggest one. The trucker's insurance. This is how a lot of truckers get away with scamming. Even a dispatcher, or even a broker, unfortunately. They have fake paperwork. Do you know how easy it is to dub a paper? Stop it. That insurance, it protects your business and theirs. I actually had someone, not on purpose, but there are a lot of drivers that does this on purpose. They will give you fake insurance. They will give you outdated insurance. Do you know they need money to update that insurance? And if they don't have the money, they're going to try and roll with it on the old paperwork. And then doc redo the paperwork as if it's not in the system. Stop playing with me. God sees everything that we do. So don't try and come. Don't try to come half-ass. That's the best word I can say. Build trust. See, customers and partners, they choose prepared operators. If your insurance is in alignment, it's easier to move faster. Do you have the proper coverage? Do you have the proper information on there? All of this matters. Is your insurance rep information visible? Because if I need to update that COI, which you're going to need to for every load, you're going to have to reach out to the insurance rep. And I want an insurance rep that's on top of it, on top of it, on top of it. Don't tell me I need to update this because I have 50 other things that I need to do. Make sure it meets the requirements and then provide the proper support. See, when you prepare today, you protect tomorrow. Let me say that again. When you prepare your today, it actually helps you to protect your tomorrow. And that's exactly what we want to do. See, the demonstration is organized. Your driver qualification, your insurance certification, your vehicle inspection reports. All of this is a part of my master class that I teach. See, in that class, we go over the carrier vetting system so we can break it down so you all can understand what to say and how to say it and when to say it. Because we're not just fishing for anyone. We're fishing for the right ones. See, we don't need every driver. We need the ones that's dedicated and that has open availability so we can go ahead and get things done. See, when you're disorganized and have your paperwork missing, like this right here on the right hand side, it actually eats up time, and time is valuable. You want to make sure you have your accident records, your BOL paperwork, your rate confirmations, your drug and even alcohol test results. Why? Because they are definitely coming after these drivers now with that. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next slide. If my pointer wants to work, okay. Protection is professionalism, not just for the driver, but for you, dispatchers. Let's be real. You are the who? You're the Domino's. The driver is the Uber Eats. They see their face, but they talk to you. You too have to be professional. And I'm going to be real with you. I was not always professional. Yes, I was. I wasn't professional if I found out that you were stealing from me. Nah, I'm not that nice. I was professional until I found out that you were trying to double broker us, or you tried to charge my driver when he shouldn't have been charged. When you're trying to take advantage of my drivers by saying you need to help with this load, no, he doesn't. Did you pay him? I would still be professional until you cross that line. And that's when Chicago came out and it's like, hey, let me show you how we're going to get this done the right way, or even just the way that it needs to be done. Because at the end of the day, we still have to get it done. And that's money. Get the money done. Great operators, they shield the problems before they happen. So that looks like, let's check out your documentation, your qualification, your equipment. That's the most important thing right now. Do you have a truck that actually can get the job done? Because some people's trucks are actually raggedy. Does your truck have any holes in it? All of this is a part of your interviewing system. You need pictures of that truck. The door size and your driver's availability is going to determine how much you make. Let me say that one more time, but slower. Your door size and your driver's availability is going to determine how much money you make. You want to make $10,000, but you can't do it if you have a weekly schedule where you got kids that you have to be home for every weekend. That's not how you make your money. Thank you so much, Miss Maria. She was actually my first client, Maria Johnson. Her and her husband, first customer. But then years later, I went back to Miss Maria and I saw her numbers, and I saw the fact that she technically made $368,000 one year. And after looking at her numbers, I said, you need to trim some fat. And that's going to be next week in my revenue system, how we look at the numbers for the driver so we can trim the fat, because that fat is taking up the proceeds. You don't see your money because you're spending it. The problem is the protection is professionalism. So when it comes to safety verification, my carrier vetting system is technically a complete system, but it's going to turn into a portal. See, I created what's called the AI Freight Coach, and this is going to be built inside of it. So you can type in that MC number and then see everything that you see here. The safer score, the carrier 411 information that a lot of you drivers don't see because you actually have to be a broker to have access to their website. This is going to show your trip inspection. This will also show how many violations you have on that MC. This is going to show if your driver is compliant. See, you want to monitor your compliance because this helps to address any issues early. That will let you know, hey, you are due for maintenance. You're due for certain inspections. This is also a part of your interview. When was the last time you had your inspection? Ask that question quickly and fast. Find your carriers on social media. Why? That's your new white pages. Those are your new yellow book. Don't go to the FMCSA because the people there, they're not even ready. The ink is not dried on the paperwork. So if you want to find a carrier, a driver for your company, social media all the way, that's the only way to go, in my opinion. You have groups. You have people who are actually talking about, hey, I want a truck. I want a driver. I want a dispatcher. All you have to do is put the work in. Now, we want to measure data drives improvement. Let me see how many times you're on time. Let me see how many times you're actually late. Let me see how many accidents you have because that affects me too. All of this can actually make my job easier or harder, and many people don't understand that. Cultivate. You have to create a culture of protection and safety for everyone. See, my drivers knew I had their back because when they went into a shipper and the shipper said, oh, I need you to touch this, they said, call my dispatcher. And they understood that because I specifically told them, make sure you call me, because if they did not pay you, then you don't touch a thing. Put your hands in the pocket. Let's not be kindergartners, but let's be kindergartners for a day. Put your hands in your pocket. If not, let's just do one of these. Why? Because these hands get paid to transport, not pick up freight. Tailgating is the only thing that a truck driver can do. From the back to the front of that door. That's it. Other than that, put the hands right here, guys, girls, put the hands right here. Because until you got paid or the dispatcher negotiated that before that rate con was signed, not after, but before, they're going to try and take advantage of you. And that's something that you want to protect. So my drivers understood that we had their back no matter what. The demonstration on the old belief, when there's too much paperwork. Now we got AI. AI is basically doing all of your dispatching. But guess what? AI can book the load, even negotiate on your behalf. But is it running your operating system? Is it interviewing your carriers for you? Is it telling you about the safeguard, the decision matrix? Is it really helping you find your drivers? No, it's running. No, it's really just booking your loads for you. You still have to do a little work. You still have to understand that the carrier vetting is not just paperwork. It's a risk protection. It's a risk protection. I actually had multiple drivers who have tried to not take advantage of me, but the owner that we were working with. And the problem that I have with that is that person is killing the operation. Get them out the seat. I can't work with that. And I've had owners get rid of those drivers because it's not it's you or me. It's hey, that person is killing this operation. We can't partner with someone who's killing the operation, because killing the operation means you're making me go back to work or work harder. If I book your freight by 9 a.m. and I'm done and you fail to pick up, that means I have to go back to work. I should charge you double for something like that. That's why the old belief, you have to be in order. You have to have a system that saves you time and money. Go beyond compliance. Go beyond the things that will cost you a lot of money. Because honestly, this is a non-negotiable system. Now, less documentation. You want to make sure you write everything down. When it came to double broke, or when it came to carrier vetting, we interviewed, but we also was recording those answers. Because when you tell me, a part of my questionnaire is, what are your goals? I don't want to hear, oh, I want to drive the truck 10 years. I'm going to tell you bye. I'm looking for people who want to scale, because I know how to scale a business from the employee stage to the builder stage to the operator stage to the owner stage. There are levels to growth in a business. And if you want to stay at that employee stage, you can go ahead and do so. In my opinion, our parents back in the day never grew past the employee stage, if you can think about it. A lot of parents just work hard. And that's it, because that's all they knew. They never got to that builder stage where they can actually put the plan together that they actually implemented or thought of. They don't even get to the operating stage where they can actually leverage, because that means you have to count on someone or something else to help you. Many parents taught us to work hard and go to work. That's it. Don't do nothing else. I remember I asked my mom, I said, look, Mom, I want to be a successful wife. I want to be a good mom. And I actually still want to make more money. I asked her, how can I do it? And she told me one answer that made me say, I love you, Mom, but you're not qualified. She said, find a good job, be there for 40 plus years. I said, well, excuse me, with all due respect, that sounds like a jail sentence. That's when I realized my mother wasn't qualified to give me that type of advice, because she was still working a job that she's been working for a long time. Now, that doesn't take away her intelligence, her beauty, everything else that she taught me. No, she just knows what she knows, and that's all. A lot of us only know what we know. The standards are different. Your standards must be proved, protected, and improve. You want to create a system and then build it where you can actually improve that system. Now, here's my interviewing system. We go through the insurance verification. Make sure your documents are up to par. We go through your authority so we can make sure that we have confirmed decision makers. We actually go through your equipment. I need pictures of that truck. Why? Do you have any racks on the side of your truck? No. So that means we can't hang nothing up. Okay. Do you have any tools on that truck? No. Okay. So that means everything is going to be by hand, or if the shipper doesn't have the equipment, you're going to have to go to a rent a tool to do something like that to get that off. That takes more time, more deadhead. Okay. Do you have any blankets? No. Okay. So if something requires 10 to 15 blankets, that means you're going to have to make a stop. See, all of that can be cut out if you know that you need that. But if you don't know, guess what you're going to do? You're going to run into these problems and spend all that time trying to come up with a solution when you could have been prepared in advance if you took my class. We're going to check these rates and contracts. Why? Because we can negotiate the rate, but baby, guess what? The money in the game doesn't start until you get that BOL. Why? The BOL shows you if you're dealing with a real broker or not. Next, Capacity and service, we're going to confirm the availability. Let me know what your schedule is like, because if you can't be on 3 weeks out the month, then go have a seat. I did not want newbies. I had 3 months, no months, 6 months, 12 months, 5 years. I had everyone. And the only difference is that capacity. Do you have the availability? Because if you don't, you're wasting my time, baby. You want 2 weeks out the month? Go sit down. You're not going to make no money, because you have 4 weeks in the month. That first week that you get paid, that first week covers your bills and some of your household. The second week, half of that second week covers the rest of your bills. That third week is your surplus week. That's the week that you collect your money. That fourth week helps to set you back up for week 1. So I say that because if you have clear availability, then you can make money. See, that 4th week in, you should have your rest. But more importantly, if you don't have endorsements, take the weekend and actually get your truck fixed. Take the weekend and actually add some value to your name. Because have you ever heard of a doctor who didn't have a certification? Have you ever heard of a lawyer who didn't have a degree? So why do you think you can go out there with your driver's license and say, I deserve $3 to $6 a mile, when you have no endorsements, no certificates, no value besides that truck? I just want to understand this, because you drivers for sure don't understand it. It's over 100,000 drivers right now with no endorsements next to their name, but they're trying to get the money. You don't have to try. It's a lot of drivers out here that's making $200,000 a year because they've done the work. They did the small nuance.